Hello dear students of class 10th, welcome to civics class. I hope all of you are fit and healthy. Students, in this video, I shall be continuing with the 7th chapter from your civics book, that is, Outcomes of Democracy. Students, in the previous video, I explained you about accommodation of social diversity. That means how social diversity can be accommodated in a democracy, which cannot be accommodated in any other form of government. It can only be accommodated in democracy. So I hope the previous topic is clear to everybody. Now students, we will be moving to the last topic of this chapter, that is dignity and freedom of citizens. Now see, everywhere you will find citizens whenever we are talking about democracy, because without citizens, democracy is baseless. It has no existence. Alright. So that is why you will find citizens most of the time. So let's start with this topic. See, democracy and our expectations from it with regard to the dignity of an individual. Now students, you will also find one common thing, one common point, that is expectations. See, in a democracy we can expect. So in every topic, in almost every topic of this chapter, you must have observed that I have used this word expectations, because we can only expect in a government called as democracy. In a democratic government, we cannot expect anything in any other form of government, for example dictatorship, military rule, monarch, etc. So this is only possible in democracy. So we will see that how the dignity and freedom of citizen is there in a democracy. See, democracy starts with citizens, alright. So means citizens are the most important aspect, the most important dimension in a democracy. So the respect of citizen, dignity of citizen, equality of citizen, freedom of citizen should be there. Since they are at the center, they are in the center, so these things should be there. They must have their own respect, their dignity, their value, their importance, significance. Alright. But students, it is difficult to achieve this in a society which has been built for long on the basis of domination, on the basis of subordination. Definitely, it is our right to have dignity, equality, freedom, but it is quite difficult in a society to manage all this, to handle all this, where domination and subordination have been the base. Now, why I am saying this? Why I am saying that domination and subordination have been the base since very long? Let's take example of caste system. Higher caste, lower caste. The higher class caste people are always preferred. They have their own dignity, their own respect, own freedom, equality in the society. But if I talk about the people of lower class, for example, SCs, scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, other backward caste, means these section of society, they are considered to be backward, they are considered to be of low caste generally. So means they are also citizens, but why not we are paying attention to their dignity, their respect, their equality and freedom? Because they are always below the higher caste. Let me also tell you about the hierarchy system that is there in our country, that is Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vash, Shudras. The Brahmins are at the top priority, at the top level, in that hierarchy level, and the Shudras, they are at the bottom. Means they are also citizens, they are also casting their vote, they also have some importance. But why dignity is not given to them? Because since so long we are bound by the chain of subordination and domination. So it is quite difficult in a democratic country like India to achieve this in a full-fledged manner. Alright. Now students, let me take one more example. That means the situation of women in a male dominated society. They are also neglected. Now you will say no, this is not there, but let me tell you that this is still there in many parts of the country. Even though we are living in a democratic country, after so many years after independence, still this is there. Women, they are still neglected. They do not have freedom, they do not have their own self respect, their own dignity. So definitely we are democratic and citizens are at the top level. Still there are many such groups who do not have their own dignity, their own respect. Alright. So students, equality over such issues can be demanded with moral and legal foundations in a democratic country. That means definitely equality and freedom can be demanded. There is a scope that if we demand, that demand will be fulfilled, as compared to a country where democracy is not there. For example, in a dictatorship, at least we can expect, we can demand, we can put forward our expectations. But when compared to any other country, in those countries the expectations and demands cannot be put forward. So we are lucky that we are in such country. Even though there are certain challenges, certain loopholes, still this form of government is preferred over all the alternatives available. Alright. So I hope this topic is also clear to everybody. Students, let me tell you that this is basically a philosophical chapter. This chapter is not based on facts and figures. No. You have to think. You have to think in a rational way. You have to do a lot of brainstorming. Then only you will be able to understand this chapter. You don't have to mug up this chapter at all. Okay? Only understanding will help you to secure more marks in the examination. So I hope this chapter is clear to everybody. Now students, let me conclude this chapter, because conclusion is very important. Alright. See, the conclusion of this chapter is that democracy is on a continuous test. That means continuously it is on test. It is evaluated. And you know, this is the most distinctive thing about democracy, that its examination never gets over. How the examination never gets over? Because suppose a government is ruling, government is in power, people have supported, people have voted for them, so the government is in power. But after 5 years, if the government is not doing well, if the government is not performing well, people, they will definitely, what they will do? They will snatch away the power and some other party will get into power and they will form the government. This means that democracy is on continuous test. Is the examination of democracy never gets over. That means here democracy means the government who is in power. Alright. So they have to continuously work for the people, for the citizens, to satisfy the citizens, to meet up to their expectations. So students, in a democracy, people will always come up with more expectations, with more demands, with more complaints. Yes, same amount of complaints or maybe more. So it is on a continuous test. And here complaining does not mean that something is bad. No. Complaining people are itself a testimony to the success of democracy. That means, see, if people are complaining, that does not mean that this is a failure. No, this is not a failure. It means that the people are aware about their rights. They know that what they have to do. They have to stand for themselves. They have to stand for their group, for their community, for their country. So, if complaints are also there, that is not a negative thing in democracy. So I hope the complete chapter is clear to everybody. All the topics are clear to everybody, whosoever is watching this video. Now students, as the chapter is done, now we will just very quickly revise this chapter, that what we have studied, so that you can answer the questions. We will be studying this. I will be explaining you in the form of questions, that how questions can come in your examination. So which will help you in your examination very much. Okay. Now students, let's recapitulate this chapter. Let us just very quickly revise this chapter, whatever we have learnt. Okay. So in question form, I'll be doing this part. So the first question is, why is democracy preferred over other alternatives or over other forms of government? So why is it so? See, I already explained this portion in the introductory video itself. That means the advantages, the merits of democracy. First of all, equality. It promotes equality. Everybody is treated equal before the law, everybody is treated equal before the law. It promotes equality. Alright, it considers everybody as equal. It does not differentiate between people. This is the first point. Second, it enhances the dignity of individual. Definitely, respect is given to the individual. Like in the topic also I explained you, dignity of citizens. Because citizens are in the center. So, their dignity is also very important. They are given respect. They are given dignity. Then the third point, improves the quality of decision making. How it improves the quality of decision making? Because in order to take any decision, a complete protocol has to be followed, a complete system has to be followed, and as a result of which, when a particular decision passes from one point to another, from one step to another, automatically the quality of decision is improved. That means qualitative decisions are taken. This is the next point why it should be preferred. Then it provides a method to resolve conflicts. Conflicts are very common, they are very much natural. So it performs a platform, it provides a method to resolve those conflicts. For example, we have High Court, we have Supreme Court, we have District Court, right? So with the help of these, conflicts can be resolved. Then it allows room to correct its mistakes. Definitely it allows room to correct mistakes, because if the government will not correct because if the government will not correct its mistake, what will happen? In the next year, they will not remain in power. The next political party will come up in power. So there is always a room to correct mistakes. Okay. So I hope this question is clear to everybody. Then the next question can be that why there are delays in decision making. See, there are delays in decision making in a democracy as compared to a non-democratic country, because in a democratic country a particular decision has to pass through several stages. There are so many discussions, debates on a particular topic. Now when it comes to a non-democratic country, then in that type of government, the people who is ruling, the person who is ruling needs not to consult the people. They take decision on their own, they do not consult, as a result of which definitely decisions are taken very quickly, promptness in decision making is there, but quality is not assured. But when it comes to democracy, quality is assured in democracy, even though there are delays. Okay. Then students, the next question can be, how does democracy produces an accountable, responsive and legitimate government? Then here you need to explain all the three types, that what are these governments. For example, when it comes to accountable, that means the government that is answerable to the people, to the citizens, that type of government is called as accountable government. That means the government that takes responsibility for its actions. Then comes responsive government. That means the government that reacts to the needs of the people, that reacts to the expectations of the people. That type of government is called as a responsive government. And when it comes to legitimate government, that means the government that is formed by the people through free, fair and regular elections. So that type of government is called as a legitimate government. That means a justified government, a valued government, because it has been chosen by the people. It is people centric. So I hope this topic is clear to everybody. These points are clear to everybody. The students, apart from this, statements may also come. For example, a statement may be given and you may be asked to justify that statement. For example, democracy is seen to be good in principle but felt to be not so good in practice. Justify this statement. See, I already explained you this, that definitely democracy is seen to be good in principle. That means definitely the principles that democracy has are really good. They are moral reasons, but they are not so good in practice. That means the ground reality is different. For example, here democracy promotes equality, but when it comes to real sense, that means in reality equality is there or not between a higher class people and between a higher class person and a lower class person. So there, on that ground, on ground reality, this means there are certain differences, there is a mismatch, as a result of which this statement is correct, that definitely democracy is seen to be good in principle but felt to be not so good in practice. Okay. Then next topic, that is economic outcome of democracy. See students, as already discussed, that the economic outcome of democracy is not so satisfying when compared to a non-democratic country, because in a non-democratic country the economic outcome, the growth and development is much higher as compared to a democratic country. And one more thing, that economic development in a country is not based on only one factor. There are several factors that are responsible for this. For example, population size, global size, etc. Okay. Then I explained you about the Then students, I explained you about the performance of democracy on the issue of reduction of economic inequality and poverty. So on that ground, means that issue, the outcome of that issue is not so satisfying, because a democratic country like India has failed to achieve successful results when it comes to economic inequality, reduction of economic inequality and poverty, because in India, in our country, a lot of economic inequality is there, economic disparity is there, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. So democratic countries have, like India, has failed to achieve this outcome. Then next topic, I explained you about the social outcome of democracy, that means accommodation of social diversity. So students, in a democratic country we can actually demand, we can expect, which is actually satisfying, but when it comes to a non-democratic country, then we cannot expect anything. We cannot expect the government to accommodate people, to accommodate diversity, and it will ultimately lead to conflicts and division. But in a democratic country we can expect, accommodation can be there. Alright. Then I explained you regarding dignity and freedom of citizens. Cut this line. Then lastly students, I told you about the dignity and freedom of individuals. So from that also question may come. For example, dignity and freedom of citizens are best guaranteed in democracy. Justify. Definitely dignity and freedom of individuals are best guaranteed in democracy, because democracy provides a platform to the people. At least people can expect, and in a democracy people are of utmost importance. They are given central role. Democracy revolves around the people. So dignity and freedom of citizens, they are guaranteed in a democracy. It may vary, but we can at least expect in a democratic country. Because see, democracy is on continuous test. We have so much expectations one after the other in a democratic country, which cannot be there in a non-democratic country. We can expect for the dignity and freedom of the citizens, of the people of the country. So students, I have revised all the topics whatever I have explained you in this video as well as in the previous videos. So I hope all the topics are clear to everybody. So with this, we have completed chapter number 7, that is outcomes of democracy. Thank you so much. I'll be seeing you in the next video. Till then, stay safe, revise your lessons well, and stay connected. Thank you.